You all right?
I'm just making sure I see that red light.
You know what? I appreciate that. I am glad you did that.
If I don't see that red light and we do this,
I'm going to be real mad at you in 45 minutes. I'm calling it. That's how long this episode's going to be.
I absolutely know you're not here just to talk to me.
No. You all right?
Give me a minute. Welcome back to Talking Story. My name is John Minton. That right there is my literary wingman, the heir to the Talking Story throne, best producer on BookTube, and the Child of Happiness. We had changed that to something else. The Child of Happiness changed to...
I don't even remember it this way. It was the something
I can't remember either.
I can't
it was
remember now.
I can't either. We're sticking with Child of Happiness.
Yeah. My name is Jacob, here for the sole purpose to talk to my lovely father.
That is so untrue.
That's not true at all.
If I just called you to talk to you, you would like log the call and go, it's one of the many times a day I got to talk to my dad. I keep a running count.
I'm going to have to charge you for that. I charge hourly.
I think each one's $0.25.
Yeah.
All right, look, this is it. We are wrapping up everything we read in May.
It is indeed. And I think it's a big month because both you and I read a lot this May.
You have a big stack.
You got a big stack. I'm excited. I'm one of the club.
So are you ready? Do you have your book of the month chosen? Are you good to go?
Oh yeah. It's not even close.
Okay. Then you get to start.
Okay.
You get to start, man. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the ride.
Oh, well, you can talk a little bit. If it's just me for a while, I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle that. That's too scary.
I might doze off. That's how I roll today.
That's a distinct possibility. First book that I read in May.
Yeah.
Per your recommendation, actually. You would recommend this book to me many, many times, and I finally found the space to pick it up. This is Susanna Clarke's Piranesi.
Yes.
Which, if you'll remember, this is neither your copy or my copy.
Where did you get that? I gave you a hardcover that you have returned to me.
Which I have returned to you.
You did? Yes. Very well done.
I bought this today. I went to a bookstore and bought this today. This book is so good that a friend's birthday is coming up, and I bought this as a gift for them.
That's the best. That's when you know.
I think this is a book that anybody would enjoy. This is so great.
Yes. Welcome to the club.
Thank you.
That's when
it's a good club to be in.
When something hits you so hard, you got to share it.
Yes.
That's S tier. That's
Absolutely.
what that S tier is.
I was looking on the shelf for, if they have Janny Wirtz here, this is a person that really likes fantasy, that'd be great. They didn't happen to have Janny Wirtz, was a bit of a shame. And then I saw Piranesi, and I was like, that's the one. That is, without a doubt, I don't have to look any further, that's the one. This, for anybody that has lived under a rock and doesn't know, this is Susanna Clarke's Piranesi. It tells the story of somebody that is potentially within another world, within another timeline. It's not entirely clear, especially at the beginning. And they have no memory of how they got there, why they're there. They just know that it's a beautiful place to be in. And they're helping somebody along with some experiments that they're running there. And it's all good. Until it's not.
Quite mysterious.
Quite mysterious. And it's just a beautiful story. And I won't get into spoilers, obviously, but the ending really hit me in a way that I wasn't expecting. I knew it was going to be something incredibly profound and beautiful. And it just hit me in so many different notes that I still wasn't prepared for, even expecting such a great ending from Susanna Clarke. And it's absolutely going to be a 5-star book for me. I don't even really rate books, but that immediately goes to 5 stars.
I mean, isn't that moment where the ending or something hits and it makes you, when art makes you examine your own existence and how you share the world with others.
Yes.
That's right. That's that kind that you share, right?
Yeah.
That's so awesome, man.
It's just...
This is it. I am beyond proud of you. You bought a
thank
book
you.
for someone.
I did buy a book for someone, and I think they'll really like it.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. That is awesome. I'm over the moon.
So then you recommended me another book.
Wow, I can't believe.
Or maybe recommended is not fair to say. You picked a book for me.
Oh, this was, no, okay.
I lost a bet. And,
yes, there it is. You lost a bet.
I lost a bet. We had a competition to see if I could read more books in a month than you, and I lost, I think, by one book. And the deal was that if I lost, I had to read some Cornell Woolrich. So you picked out The Phantom Lady, and we buddy read it together.
We did. We had book club with the boy because you lost the bet.
Yes. That episode was a ton of fun. If anyone wants to check that out, it was so much fun. We do get
so
into
much fun.
spoilers later.
We're going to do it again. I think we should do it again.
I think we are going to do it again. I think we have planned to do it again at the start of next year for Boy's Life, but hopefully we can do something else before then. Or Shadows Upon Time. We'll have to do Shadows Upon Time together.
The closest we have planned right now is November.
Yeah, right.
For Shadows Upon Time, when Christopher Rocchio wraps up his amazing series. Maybe we can slip in something small like Phantom Lady like before that.
We got to find space for something.
If we could slip something in, I was so much fun.
There was
awesome.
a short Bradbury read that you recommended to me a while ago. Maybe we can
Dandelion Wine.
Dandelion Wine, that's what it. Maybe we can squeeze that in.
That would be, if we could squeeze that in.
That'd be good. But this is not Dandelion Wine. This is Phantom Lady by Cornell Woolrich. Originally published under the pseudonym William Irish, I found out. This is that classic noir story that I believe was really mastered by Cornell Woolrich and kind of popularized. His story, It Had to Be Murder, was adapted into Rear Window, the famous Alfred Hitchcock film that is my favorite Hitchcock film. However, Phantom Lady was kind of a mixed bag for me, and if you watched our video, you'll know that. The prose is absolutely gorgeous, so spot on, and my favorite thing about Cornell Woolrich is his ability to build an environment for you, but not force you to look at specific things. That when you're reading his books, it really feels like you're on the street corner and you can look and put the camera and pay attention to whoever you'd like. He's given you enough detail to really inhabit this space and do what you see fit with the information that he gives you. And I love that style of storytelling. The plot had some holes for me. The characters were not built up enough for me to the point where there were just some things that I couldn't buy motivationally. And I think we came out at 3 stars is what I gave it at the end of that video.
I think we were a little bit over that, but we were very close to each other.
I think I might have been in like 3.25 and you were at 3.5. It was something like that. We were very close.
We were a quarter. There was a quarter star between us, if I remember correctly.
And you were above me. I remember that.
Yeah.
But not up for book of the month for me, though still enjoyable. I would say, I think we finished off that video by saying definitely read Cornell Woolrich, just not this one. Try It Had to Be Murder.
Would highly recommend him as a writer.
Yes.
Because like you say, he is one of those foundational pillars of the noir style for a very good reason.
He was fantastic. It was like if the only Christopher Nolan movie you watched was The Dark Knight Rises. That's kind of how it felt. So I'm not willing to judge him based on Phantom Lady. Then we got into a whole lot of One Piece. I read volumes 3 through 9, which you were so kind to let me borrow. Look at that stack right there.
Look at that stack.
Oh no, they're in order. I put them back in order. I thought I forgot. I really loved these. More so than I thought I would, because I think the month where I was trying to read more than you, I had read volumes 1 and 2 just to try and squeeze in some easy reads. And I enjoyed it a lot, but it was definitely shut your brain off and just exist and let the story happen to you kind of thing. And I think up until volume 8, it was still kind of like that. But it was, the world was so interesting to me. Like I wasn't necessarily feeling anything for these characters yet until volume 9, for obvious reasons for those that know. but just there were enough seeds there in the background of the Navy kind of not really being protective of people, and the systems that are put in place for people that you would think would allow for safety or allow for lifestyles
Would
that
be the
we
good
would
guys?
imagine. Yeah, that doesn't really exist. And if you want to have the, I'm just going to sit on my porch and exist and retire and enjoy my lifestyle, that may not exist. That may be really hard to find in this type of world. And the only other option for you is to become a pirate and find out who you would like to be in this world. That's the really only opportunity given to people. And it makes the lead in to 8 and 9 so interesting as we get the backstory of seeing that happen to somebody and watching them be forced to make that choice, even with a backstory that you would think they would never make this choice.
Right.
But they're set into a system where they have to. And it was really interesting.
It's about how you make that choice, right? How you embody that choice. It's an interesting look at identity in that way.
Yeah.
And your personal dreams and how you fulfill them.
The ways that there's a choice that you never thought you would make for yourself of what purpose you're going to have, and the almost excuses that you give to yourself to make it okay.
Yeah.
And trajectory that you set for yourself that I'm not going to be like the others that I don't look up to. So yeah, I mean, that was everything I read this month. I am a little bit sad that I'm not going to be getting to One Piece for probably until the end of this month while I finish.
Well, here's what's going to happen. You're going to bring those back to me.
No, these stay here.
No, you're going to bring.
I brought you Piranesi as kind of a polite courtesy, but these stay here.
You're going to bring those back to me, and I'm going to give you like from that up to 18. I'll give you. We trade out.
Well, that's
give
fine.
You,
You can do
9.
that. I'll take those.
That doesn't. It doesn't. No, doesn't work that way.
I'm pretty sure it works. That I'm choosing now to be a pirate. And I'm gonna take those from you.
You know what? Okay. I will let you.
All right.
I will give you through the next 17, and I'll get into why in just a minute. But,
okay.
So what else you got? I think you should hold off, and we should pick Book of the Month together at the end. What do you think? Or do you want to pick yours now?
No. We'll do it together at the end. I like that. But that is everything I read in May.
Just a quick break in the action to thank all of our correspondents, directors, and producers on Patreon. These people keep the lights on. They make decisions for us because we don't know what we're doing. We're not great at making the decisions around here. The decisions all the way from what I'm going to read next, what the book club of the month Patreon pick is going to be, but all the way up to video ideas and what we're going to do here on the channel coming up for you. If you're interested or you want to find out how you can be a part of this, right down there in the description box, click the Patreon link. It's got all the answers for you. And once again, thank you to all of these fine people that are helping us build the channel, our correspondents, directors, and producers. So, I'm going to give you up to the next 17 because this month I read volumes 16 and 17.
Oh, for your book club that you're a part of.
Yes. So the crew and there's so many people. I'm going to forget some folks. Should I even try? Wait a minute.
Don't do it. No.
People.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
But the best data keeping system known to man does not forget people.
Oh, this is a nightmare.
Let's pull out the Trapper Keeper.
Oh, God.
Because I betcha. I'm not even sure if
in the microphone.
If I got it in here. Oh, do I even have it? Oh, I got the One Piece crew right here.
If you got all of that and didn't even have it written down,
and it was a distinct possibility. So look, I finished volume 16 and 17. We kind of wrapped up Drum Island. I am on the other side of this now because now I'm like, dude, I can't wait for you to like be where I'm at. Like we have wrapped up Drum Island. We have added to our crew, and you think.
You think right now added to the crew?
You think right now you have a favorite. Because after volume 9, I think you said maybe, oh, is Nami my favorite? Like, I thought I knew who she was, but now really, like, and I was the same way. I had a favorite. And then we get to Drum Island, and let me tell you something.
Really?
I have a new favorite crew member. And I don't think my heart will ever let go of my favorite crew member.
Now, is it because you added the new crew member, or is it because you got a backstory for a pre-existing crew member?
I'm not going to say.
Because I was going to say my favorite might actually be the chef. I like the chef a lot.
Oh, the high-kicking chef isn't that the worst seafood restaurant in the world?
It's horrible.
But that's the kind of irreverence and craziness that you get. And then you get the backstory of the chef of that restaurant and what he went through to...
Yeah. Sanji, I think his name is.
Yeah. So many layers, so much going on. So we're still in the middle of the deceit of the Baroque's work. And we're leaving Drum Island. We're moving towards Arabasta, and I can't wait to continue. But my assignment was to get through volume 17 so we could meet with the crew and have another discussion. And the crew is Leslie from Nerdy Narrative, Zach from Spyro the Storytelling Dragon, Andrew from Wizardly Reads, Jake from Nerd Level Rising, and Dr. Philip Chase from The Best of Fantasy. We are all going to get together and talk about our favorite moments, our new favorite crew member. Oh my gosh, because how could you not? And then everything else up to volume 17. We had our first discussion that was up to volume 9, which you are caught up with now.
I am.
So now I am ready to get in and talk with everyone up to volume 17. So I will give you 10 through 17 so you can continue. And when you got a little extra time, between some bigger, thicker reads, just grab one of these because you know how fast they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I do have a question for you, and I really don't mind if you answer yes or no. Because odds are high by the time I get to the next volume, I will forget what you said.
Well, it'll depend if it be spoilers for other folks, but I'll do what I can.
Are we even on the Grand Line yet?
Yes, yes.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know. I was just curious how long it takes to get to the Grand Line.
And honestly, not very far past volume 9. You will be.
Will. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's.
I was just curious.
I probably should have said that, but that's how excited I am.
In 2 days, I'll forget anything you just said.
Yeah, so you will keep going, and it's like, oh, what a crossover into the Grand Line it is too.
I'm excited. I didn't think I was going to be this excited, but I'm excited to get back to it.
Yeah, I am excited for you to catch up and continue on. It's just, it's just one of the amazing things about art and story and this hobby is it is just fun. I've found sometimes that it's like I've had a rough day. I don't quite feel right. I come home and it's like if I grab some One Piece, I don't care what's happened. I'm kind of smiling not very many pages into it.
I was kind of the same way, actually.
Yeah.
It's just the found family thing really hits hard in One Piece. And it brings a smile along with it.
Oh my God, wait. I can't wait for you to catch up. Okay, so after that, we do at least one indie published read a month here on the channel. This month, we got an early advanced reading copy from Chance Dillon of his new epic fantasy series. It starts off with book 1 here, Mercy, Tears of the Fallen. And I gave this a read. And let me tell you something. I was very impressed with Chance as just a dude, man. He's just cool. He's chill. He seems to be just a lovely human being. We've had him on the channel. We've talked at length, and let me tell you something. You meet people, and you're just like, yeah, he's one of the goods, man. He really is.
He's the sweetest.
He was already that for me, and now after I have read this, I have a whole new category for this cat, man, because this guy. The expansive imagination and level of dreamer that he has to be to come up with this intense and deep and layered of a world And then to take the artist's journey, to put it down on paper, to share it with the rest of us. This is how deep it is. Like for me, it's like I feel like I'm just starting off on a safari chasing this dreamer, and I've got nothing but bushes and foliage in front of me. And there's at times I can't quite see the story of what's going on because he's got so much of this in his head, and he unleashes it at you with no primer and no crib notes, and takes no prisoners with the pace and the speed with which he just unloads and throws you into the deep end of this world and the conflict and what's going on. And then you're left to kind of pick up some breadcrumbs and figure this out. And some people love this style. Look, personally, I would love to just sit with Chance for an hour and a half and write down crib notes and read this again, because there's just moments of he's throwing so much at me so early that he's got so much in there that he wants to share. And like I say, the expansive imagination on this already, and this is his first book.
Yeah, it is.
Imagine down a few books down the series, because let's face it, in any time that you start off on an artist's journey in any media, you're starting off with some tools, and maybe you're not quite adept at handling them. Maybe they're going to get sharper as you go on. And this is for everybody. I'm not pointing out Chance or anyone, this is just life, right?
Yeah, of course.
So imagine books 2, 3, like down the road, imagine as those tools get sharper, and his hands get more adept, and his imagination gets more refined to where these tools are laser focused, and what he's revealing to you and when is just right on the money pace wise to get the story across and the emotional punch across that he wants. Let me tell you, this is an artist journey that I cannot wait to continue. Not only to see what happens in this world, but to see how he grows as a storyteller. Because you can tell, look, you will not be but 20, 30 pages into this book and realize, oh my God, this person has an entire world to show me. So I can't thank Chance enough. This amazing world that is going through this cyclical apocalypse type, and then growing back up, and then why is this happening, and then where are some clues being left in between, and how can we possibly stop it this time, or at least live through it? I'm again, I know he says he's blocking out book 3, hard at work on book 2. This guy is putting in the hours, which is what you need to do to get those tools sharper and sharper. And he is so committed to do that. I'm so excited to see where this series goes, and to see where this writer goes. And I thank him so much for sending this to me. This is going to have a very special place on my shelf.
Yeah, I kind of want to pick up a copy for myself. I mean, it sounds like what you're saying is getting in on the ground floor now.
I look, this is something that I think down the road, you're going to feel special if you have this on your shelf.
Yeah.
Because I think, for my money, I think where this is going, and this artist is going, if you can follow, if you want to follow, and if you're watching this channel, this is the kind of stuff you love. Why wouldn't you? I think this is something that you would definitely want to get started with. And like after books 2 and 3 come out, you can look back and go, dude, I was there from the beginning with Chance. That's how I feel.
And such a nice guy as well. I mean, you can tell just by talking with Chance, like the work ethic that guy has. He cares.
Oh man, he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And as always for Indie Pub Books, if that sounds interesting at all to you, pick it up in the description. It will be down there.
And what I can say is the ebook is already up for pre-order, and I believe at a special price. I'm not 100% sure, but check it out.
I checked it out the other day. I don't know if it's still there, but it was 99 cents when I looked at it.
Come on.
That should be an easy pre-order, man.
Yeah, you can get it on the ground floor for something like that. I highly recommend it. From that, then wait a minute. Oh, I gotta get back the old trap for keep. I have to do it, because right after that, it was time to continue on our read-along for The Wars of Light and Shadow by Janny Wirtz.
I'm reading it now. If you say any spoilers, I'll kill you.
I will not say any spoilers, but this was Ships of Marrier. You're reading Ships of Marrier. The way we did this is because we have some folks in our group that are in Europe or all around the globe, and in these States, they put these together. In Europe, it's 2 volumes. It's Ships of Marrier and the Warhost of Vastmark. So we stopped where Warhost of Vastmark takes over. So this month, we were all reading the second part of this, which is Warhost of Vastmark. And dude, this is one of those that you talk about somebody that this is who we're working to. This is what we're working towards.
Yeah, I'm almost tempted to take my headphones off because I know you're just about to give me FOMO for 5 minutes.
Look, storytellers like ourselves and Chance and people out there working. This is the brass ring we're trying to get to right here.
Yes. She's a master.
She is a master. She is one of the pillars of epic fantasy. There should be so much more attention to this than there is, and I can't wait to talk to the rest of the group about this. And the rest of the group is Abel Montero, Chris Navo, Brian Bell at BellTube, Sylvia from Library Unbounded, Jake at Nerd Level Rising, and again, Leslie from Nerdy Narrative. And I think we're going to be getting together on Brian's channel, BellTube, to talk all about this. And from the very beginning of this, from the very beginning of Warhost of Vastmark, you start getting these tantalizing answers that you've been waiting for. From the very first book, Curse of the Mistwraith, these answers that you've been going, oh man, I want to know more about that. I wonder how much longer we have to wait. And not only do you get these tantalizing answers, they cause more questions, and they cause the broadening of not only the world of Ethera and what's going on with all these characters, it's a broadening of genre. It opens up from epic fantasy even to different and layered genres going on here. And it's so exciting. It's so exciting. And then as it goes on, you just get not only some answers and not only new questions, but you start to realize these character arcs that she has been so carefully building and laying out at the beginning of Ships of Marrier. What I will tell you is everything matters. Pay very close attention to everything in Ships of Marrier. And it has such a satisfying ending. But then when you start to get to Warhost of Vastmark, you start to see all these threads pulled together. And you start to see these character arcs that you start to, this guy, I can't even be on board with this character because of where they're headed or how they're acting. And then by the end, your aha moments will hit. And these character arcs no one is the same. Everybody moves. No one is the same. The world is unbelievably fleshed out and beautiful and layered. Not only that, but the multiple worlds, because we're dealing with a portal fantasy aspect of this, of worlds tied together, worlds upon worlds tied together. And not only that, but then you have your main characters that you're traveling along with, that she is not afraid to put them through the ringer in every type of emotional gut punch, star-crossed love that just can't happen, mysteries that they just can't answer, a curse at the very heart of this series that brings enmity to not only them, but ripples out across the entire world that she is painstakingly building here. It's one of those moments where I knew I loved this series. I knew this series was going to be one of my favorites of all time. It's going to make the list. There's no two ways about it, right? And then Warhost of Vastmark hit. So far, this is my favorite book of the entire series.
You're killing me.
Like, it is my absolute favorite book of the entire series.
Can we just stop recording and I go read now?
And I haven't even talked about Janny Wirtz's prose, which is just makes you reread it because it's so gorgeous.
Yes. It's truly brilliant. We live in the age of a master of their craft.
Yeah. So, favorite so far.
Before you put that away, I have to say it every time Janny Wirtz comes up.
Yep. Do it.
There's no audiobooks of these. What up with that, HarperCollins? I get more upset about it the further I read into Wars of Light and Shadow, because it's like these books are actually brilliant. You're missing out on widening the audience and truly blowing this thing up, because it could blow up. The books are that good.
Yes, and should be that good, and should they're at a level where it's like, oh, this could be one of those things that
it's lives, like you said, this is a pillar of fantasy.
has a growth beyond just us being here. Like generations could be getting into this.
Yeah, it is a pillar,
and
of
the
fantasy.
audience could be built. What up, HarperCollins? Exactly.
Fix it immediately.
Yeah,
please.
Couldn't agree more. And after that, let's just talk about series. Let's talk about massive series where hit after hit after hit just comes. Because after that, I picked up Ashes of Man by Christopher Rocchio.
Oh, yes.
Are you ready for the FOMO to continue?
No.
Because, look, after Kingdoms of Death, which was my favorite of the series.
Yes.
And still is.
Oh, okay.
Still is. Kingdoms of Death is still my favorite of the series. But this is still so good. Look, we left Hadrian just completely wrung out and changed into emotionally and never to be the same. This starts him on a path of not only rebuilding, but self-awareness in a way that I didn't realize I was missing it somehow from this series. But as we get into Ashes of Man and Christopher Rocchio and Hadrian Marlowe's journey continues, we start to see a main character that is a little bit, not a little bit, vastly more world weary.
Oh,
and not only world weary, but tired of carrying his own legends and legacy. And what does that do to a person, having to carry that on his shoulders at all times? And how does he move forward with that? And how does he sometimes recoil from that responsibility? And he's not any longer the brash upstart that throws the answer out there just because he feels he could be the smartest in the room and he has to take charge because no one else will. That feeling that we had in earlier books. No, not after the bar that he has to cross of Kingdoms of Death, which is why it's my favorite, because that tab comes due in unbelievable ways. But in this one, I get to look at a character and start to recognize things about myself. We started an empire of silence with this young person, this young idealist, leaving his aristocratic family, setting out on his own, trying to change the vast empire that he lives in. And we have now got to someone that is been beaten down by life enough and understands the reality of his situation and where he fits in exactly and who he is, to the point that I can start to recognize and see a world-weary, tired, true character from this journey we've traveled together. And what I will also say is that tab is not done being paid.
Wow, even after Kingdoms of Death, still more.
No, still more. There's still gut punches to come. There are still gut punches to come. I will say at the end of this book, just as I said of Kingdoms of Death, Hadrian will never be the same. He is in a complete, vastly different place, vastly different set of circumstances, emotionally, in every way you can imagine at the end of this book. Again, as always, all the themes of these stories that make us up as a civilization and a people. What do they do to us? How do they inform us? What do they tell us? All of that is still in there. The philosophy is still in there. This series is, again, it just keeps creeping up on my all-time list. I said it after Kingdoms of Death and this 1-2 punch of Kingdoms of Death and Ashes of Man. I can't really think of many things that I could really rank above this on my all-time sci-fi list. But Dune and Hyperion Cantos, that's pretty much all I can think of. And he still has shoes to drop. Mr. Rockio. So,
I was going to say you have one left before you're caught up.
well, I've got a novella, a short story, because
you're
I
doing
understand
the
I
novellas,
need
right.
to read Dregs of Empire and Daughter of the Sword, and then I will pick up Disquiet Gods, and I will be ready for the end of this series, Shadows Upon Time, in November.
So
And you will too.
And I will too. Yes, I have a roadmap
Yeah.
to be there with you. Do you think you'll be picking them up soon? Because you've got a lot of roadway before November.
I could be spacing things out,
Okay.
but I can yes, I will be picking them up soon because
Can't help yourself.
I just need to keep going with this. There's no way I can't.
Fair enough. So I
and then
assume
we've kind of go ahead.
I assume it's up for book of the month.
Should I say? Should I be keeping a tally?
Well, I mean, you can say if it's a contender. You don't have to go back. I was just curious if that one's a contender or not.
Has to be.
Okay.
Has to be.
That's all I need to know.
Absolutely has to be. So, and then we kind of already talked about it, Cornell Woolrich. And look, just very briefly, because if people would like, they can go back and watch that. I believe we talked for close to an hour, right, about this.
I think it was like 35, 40 minutes, something like that.
We had a great time. And you know what? I absolutely love my time with this and love the time I got to spend with you reading this.
I agree.
Even though it was a bit of a mixed bag, I still got to see a master working in their form because the style is absolutely the star here. His turn of phrase, his way to give you a sense, his way to give you a sense of place. As you said, I had my problems with it as far as pace, character, plot. But wow, what he does, he's special.
Yeah,
absolutely special.
I agree with you. I think that's kind of the thing that I take away from it is that I maybe gonna get in on more buddy reads because I didn't know. I just had a lot of fun reading that book with you.
It changes the whole aspect of to share it and talk about things and I didn't see that it changes the whole texture of doing a read.
Very different experience. And I can see why now that like To Ramble will sometimes like change their score on things until after they have a book club and people talk about things.
I believe both of us changed our score on this when we were talking.
Did. Yeah. As we were talking to each other, we had to kind of edit some things.
Yeah, absolutely. So talk about buddy reads. After that, it was time for our Patreon book club read.
Yes.
The ultimate buddy read for us every month. We enjoy it. We're not doing it this month because we do have a town square. But last month, it was South of Broad by Pat Conroy. And it was just last week that we all got together and had our big discussion on this. And what an amazing discussion it was. We had such a blast because this book was phenomenal. This is one of those, a definite outside of what all of us generally read. This is a time capsule. It's going to show you what happens when this young man, Leo King, going into his senior year of high school, some new folks move in across the street from him, and how his life will forever be changed on this fateful day. Leo King is dealing with an enormous tragedy to his family already, one that has really impacted him and set him back in numerous ways. And he's just kind of trying to rebuild and reflourish and come back from that. And on this fateful day, as he's doing that, he has new neighbors across the street, and then he has a new coach and a son to meet before he starts his senior year and rejoins his football team. And a couple of orphans that his mother wants him to help out that have just caught into the orphanage here because she is the local principal and she wants him to be involved with all different types of groups and helping him out. And these new orphans will be joining you in your senior year. So I want you to go down and meet them so you can help them out as they assimilate into a new town because they just moved here. So these groups of people that he is meeting on this all on the same day, he has a list of things I got to do. Make cookies for the neighbors, meet the orphans, meet the coach and his son, and then have lunch with mom and help some other people that are going to be in my senior class because they're transferring from another school over to our school under some not great situations.
Okay.
So he's got all these people coming into his life, a life that he's trying to rebuild himself. And what we get from there is this amazing look at time. It's a time capsule because we move from their lives as they come together in that senior year all the way up into their professional life after they leave school, and they go on to marriages and go on to life and go on to raising children, and then it comes back to that senior year, and it kind of goes back and forth, and it explores so many things. But the main thing is explores is that river of time, and how as you're going through it, you can almost feel like it's laid out for you, but any little pebble in that way in the river of time can divert you and take you somewhere else. And if you're very careful and very cognizant, you can see all the miracles and the nuggets of gold intermixed amongst all of this tragedy that river of time is going to throw at you in your life. And it'll teach you how to see both and have perspective on both. And it shows you as a time capsule, a time in Charlotte, South Carolina, and as a time as us in this country, as we deal with AIDS. It truly is a window of time as these people grow up and they deal with things that are happening in our country, and you see tragedy after tragedy after tragedy, and yet there's always those nuggets of beauty and miraculous things if you are just cognizant enough to see them, no matter how many tragedies that are heaped on you or you're dealing with. And it was just an enormously special read. It hit each and every one of us in book club in such a personal and profound and deep, deep way. Now, what I will say is almost every single person in that book club as well had some problems. This is a beautiful symphony. But there were times when somebody in this section or that section or some section somewhere would just be a little bit off key. That just clinks a little bit. That just not quite right. So is it up for Book of the Month? Absolutely, because I do believe emotionally and intellectually and philosophically, this book changed how I look at things. But at the same time, I can't give it 5 stars. And almost none of us could, because it does have those moments of resonance that are just off key that we all struggled with.
Oh, wow. Okay. I had gotten to check in with you like in the middle of this book.
Yeah.
And you were telling me you got to find time to read this book. It might be.
And I still agree with that.
Yeah.
I still agree with that.
I was not expecting to hear the downsides of that, though. I thought it was going to be a 5-star for you.
Not quite a 5. Let me tell you what this does. It does like very other stories do. But it does again, those clinks, when it clinks, it clinks and it pulls you right out of it at times. So, but I can't not put it up for Book of the Month.
Well, then add it to the list.
Because it was so profound. And I had a little bit of extra time.
Of course
so
you did.
what I did is I picked up a couple of novellas that Stefan had sent me. There's a great friend of the channel, and he writes science fiction mostly, and Stefan had sent me these, and it's like, you know what? They've been sitting on my shelf for far too long. I want to get to these. And they're just novellas. They're pretty short. I got a little bit extra time. So I picked up Black Seeds and The Collector, both by our buddy Stefan. And I should try and say, well, I'm just going to say Stefan Kobets.
Yes. And as always, Indie Pub Books in the description.
Right down there. And let me tell you about these. So Black Seeds, it struck me very much as it was staged very much in this framing storytelling way. It really struck me as kind of like a bit of a fable, a bit of a fairy tale in this far off world, in this far off future. A little bit of militaristic themes going on, but also obviously very important theme to Mr. Kobets here is identity and what makes us human and how that could be changing. And as it does change, how do we hold on to our humanity? And how do we define humanity? And how do we define togetherness as opposed to othering, even when the exterior outside becomes changed or morphed or pushed into extreme situations. So I really enjoyed the type of fairy tale aspect of this, and then it kind of shifted into some type of philosophical musings that it just kind of did what I like my sci-fi to do. It transported me, it took me away somewhere, and at the same time, it still made me think. In actually a very, very few pages, it made me think about our ideals of government and leadership and military, and again, othering and identity, and just more and more and more things. And it was delivered in this lovely fable-esque way that I really appreciated. And then I thought, oh, I think I got a handle on what Stefan Kobetz likes to do. And then I picked this up, and this was just like almost a completely different flavor out of a smorgasbord. This one was more like that classic Twilight Zone episode that I would stay up a little bit later to check out, because it's one of those like, oh, these characters are just thrown together. They're not quite sure why. It's a mystery as to how they even got there and what they're supposed to be doing and where this is all leading, and mystery upon mystery. And then as it builds and builds and builds, and you do get answers, again, very short. He compresses quite a bit into this. You do get answers, but it gives you this kind of, oh, Henry twist at the end, the way the classic Twilight Zones did, that make you go, oh, well, you could launch a whole book just off of that ending. It was that altering, expansive ending by the end. So it's like, it was very interesting, like the two entirely different types of flavor. And I absolutely will be picking up more of Stepan's books. I hope I have some time again this year, because my year is pretty packed, even though we got half of it left to go. But I truly enjoyed my time with these. There were quick reads, there were palate cleansers, and yet they were both extremely thought-provoking. But the style of each was different enough to feel like, oh man, I feel like I just went down a lovely buffet line and got some different flavors and everything as I got some palate cleansers between some bigger, chunkier books.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I mean, big praise for an indie book that was able to do that for you. Well done, Stepan.
Absolutely. We love it when that happens here. And then I wrapped up my month with James Islington's The Will of the Many.
Yes, highly anticipated.
And I got to get out my Trapper Keeper again, because again,
you don't have to.
Just like you said, how buddy reads are the way to go, man. We got Jake from NLR, Chance Dillon himself,
lovely Chance
author
Dillon.
of Mercy Tears of the Fallen, Jimmy Nuts from the Fantasy Network, and Dr. Philip Chase from the Best of Fantasy are all going to be getting together on Jake's channel, Nerd Level Rising, to talk about James Islington's book, The Will of the Many. I enjoyed this quite a bit. Let me tell you where I think I kind of, for a good chunk of it, ran into a problem.
Oh, okay.
For a good chunk of it, ran into a problem. And that was hearing from so many people, oh, this was my favorite book of last year, or this was my favorite book of the year, whatever year it came out. I had a lot of people say, oh, and then I get into it and I'm reading it and I'm having not that feeling. Now, it's extremely good. It's extremely well constructed. It is that Roman influenced epic fantasy, and it is very well constructed in that it's what you would expect in like an academic setting. And we've all seen these tropes. We have an orphan that has gone through tragedy, that is plucked from obscurity and sent to this very, very, where the best of the best go to the school and then come out and rule the society. And so we've all seen this. We've all been there. We've all read a book or two, at least like that, right? We could name them off if we want, but I'm not even going to waste the time. And this has each of those beats as we go along in that. It's like, it's very well constructed. It doesn't leave out any of the beats that you would want from that type of story. And it's building up and building up. And there is a different layer to this, because that person, a senator that plucks this orphan out of obscurity, has suffered a tragedy himself. And he wants this orphan to go into that school to solve a mystery. Solve a little bit of a mystery. Let me just say, this school, as these schools often are, is not the safest place. Like, some bad things happen, and more so than just like I took a harder hit in rugby today than I should have, and I broke a collarbone. No, it goes deeper and darker than that at this school. So the senator has lost someone in the past, and he's sending this orphan that he's plucked from obscurity in there to try and figure out how that happened.
Okay.
So you got a little bit of a different layer there. And I was going, okay, well, that's a little bit of a different layer on otherwise. I kind of know where the next beats are coming. He's going to make friends. Some of the friends won't be friends after all. Some of the enemies might turn into friends. All these beats I expected absolutely were coming, and I knew they were coming, and I could see it. It was almost like I went to my favorite restaurant, ordered my favorite thing off the menu, and I had comfort food. I knew what was coming. But I did have this other layer of this mystery that was kind of intriguing to me. And then most intriguing to me here was the world itself. Because this world is, again, the will of the many goes to this very stratified idea of the society where people on the bottom tiers are ceding will up to the ones above them. It might take 10 or 15 years off your life, but that's the cost of being a part of the society. We have mass transit. We have the food we need. In a lot of ways, it's somewhat of a utopian society, although built on the back of a mysterious one that's disappeared. So you're willing to do this. You're willing to do this. And the people above you have these amazing powers because of this that allow them to make this society run in the way everybody would want it to run. So I love the world. I love the ideas of that. How much are we willing to give up to be comfortable? How much are we willing of our own lives to sit back and accept to be comfortable or to not rock the boat? And of course, there are rebellions springing up and going on that make you go, oh, not everybody's willing to sit back. And as I said, the orphan plucked out of obscurity himself, the tragedy he comes from, ties into this. I don't want to give too much away. So the world itself I found enormously intriguing, this layer of mystery. But other than that, I was like, wow, best read of the year. I'm not feeling it because it's just, it's like that. It's like my favorite meal. I know what I'm going to get. I'm happy with it. But and then the last 10 or 15 pages came. And what I understood in that last 10 or 15 pages is James Islington has a story to tell, and he's giving you just glimpses of it and carrying you along and making you comfortable and settled, just like the people in this society. I'm comfortable because I know what's coming next, and I'm willing to read this because it's fun. It's got a little bit of a different layer. And then by the end, he asks you, how comfortable are you really? Because I'm going to take everything and turn it upside down by the end.
Ooh, okay.
That makes you think, oh, the real story started 10 or 15 pages from the end of this book. This was all just primer for him to start the real story he wants to tell. So I started to understand, and I started to realize, I get it. I totally get it. A book that made me go, best read of the year? I don't know. I'm not. I mean, it's good. I'm enjoying it, but I don't see that. And now, when Strength of the Few comes out, I'm there day one to buy that book because it's the last 10 or 15 pages that are the secret sauce. Because this writer has a plan, and he has a story to tell, and he has some subversion to throw your way, and it all hits you by the end. And it's earned, and it works, because he's laid all the breadcrumbs to build up to it. You can't go at the end go, oh, stop it, come on, there's no. When you get there, you're like, oh, wait a minute. So.
But up for book of the month?
I would not say up for book of the month.
A good primer for you to get excited for book 2.
Yes, many months this would be up for book of the month. But because I have
so many heavy hitters,
it's not fair for me to put it in that category. But I did truly, truly, truly enjoy it, and would absolutely recommend it to someone that likes epic fantasy. That I would say stick with it, because by the end you're gonna get that little something different.
Yeah. Well, all right. Then I think it's time.
I think it's time. You're going to go first?
I'm going to go first. Okay. My book of the month really couldn't be anything else other than The Phantom Lady.
Oh, stop it.
No, it's Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. It's a masterpiece.
That's exactly what...
If anyone has not read it, go read it right now. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's an immediate 5 stars. Generational talent that I will probably be thinking about for several years.
Masterpiece. S tier.
Book good. S tier masterpiece.
To the point where you would go out and buy a copy to share it for someone.
Yeah, this is. I have to put this back in its, little stuffing and packaging that Amanda neatly wrapped it in a little bag with some nice little decorative tissue paper. I had to
now she will
dig it out.
She will
of there.
have to do it again.
She will have to do it again. I had to buy
you
this
would
book
not neatly
for
do it.
somebody else because it was so good. I'm strongly considering buying the Folio Society gorgeous one. It's that good.
It's that good.
It's
I
good.
agree with you. It's a very, very special read.
Yeah.
So I couldn't be happier because I knew you would love it.
I know. And it's one you recommended to me too. I hate to say
knew
that
you
you were
would love
right, but it's so good.
But it just feels right to say I was right.
No,
it does. It just feels right.
That's the
It
one
really
thing,
does.
That's the one thing that stings about it.
You know why it feels so right? Because it happens so often.
I don't think it does. I don't think it does.
Okay, here's what I got for book of the, and look,
We got
again,
3.
many months. This would hands down be book of the month.
Right. Yeah.
But a month where I've got something as profound and emotionally impactful as South Abroad. Another installment of what is becoming top 3 sci-fi series of all time for me. And then one of my top fantasy series of all time, I get to the book that makes me go, this is my favorite so far of the entire series.
Yes.
Because not only do I see the amazing journey of these main characters, but I see the arcs of all these other characters and the world coming together and questions starting to be answered and just so much going on.
Now pick.
Believe it or not,
Do you have one selected already? Do you already know?
I have one selected. No one's going to get to see me pull my hair out.
I think that's 2 months in a row. You didn't have to pull
No
your
one's
hair
going to
out.
get to see me pull my hair out this month because this one, again, profound, emotionally resonant. Please try some Pat Conroy, and this would not be a bad choice.
Yes. Any book of the month winners and recommended books are always in the description as well. So pick up Piranesi, pick up South Abroad, pick up Mercy Tears of the Fallen, pick up Stepan's books. Those are down there too. Pick up Ashes of Man, pick up...
Ashes of Man is
we do
book
the
4 of
first
the
book.
series.
So pick up Empire Silence,
Yeah.
pick up Curse of the Mistwraith. Those are all down there.
So, but because of that, the little clinks I was talking about earlier,
Does not win.
I'm going to put this one over here. Not a
That is
win,
fair.
but oh my God.
That is fair.
If you want some emotionality in a book and characters that you would walk into traffic for by the end of this, this is your book. Okay. So here we go. Which one of these two? These are the 2 of the heavy hitters, man. These are like favorite series going head to head right here. What's it going to be? And I think I tipped my hand already because I said Kingdoms of Death is still my favorite of the series. Warhost of Vastmark is my favorite of this series. So
Yes.
being that Warhost of Vastmark is my favorite so far of this series, Ashes of Man did not overtake Kingdoms of Death, but it's still, oh my God, the 2 of the 1-2 punch of Kingdoms of Death and Ashes of Man will leave a mark on you. You're going, after you read these 2 books, and you don't have to go back to your corner and take a stool and have them put that really, really cold inswell over your eyes to get the swelling down, because these 2 books are going to give you a 1-2 punch that just leave you like not right.
Yeah.
But Warhost of Vastmark is my favorite of the series so far.
Oh, it makes
Questions
me
get answered.
so happy.
New questions come up. Everything gets ratcheted up even higher as far as conflict and importance, and the world is becoming fleshed out. Not only the world is becoming fleshed out, other worlds around it are becoming fleshed out and factoring into these answers. The prose is so beautifully and so transportive transportively done that it just takes you to another world, which is why we love this genre to begin with. The other reason I love this genre to begin with is it makes you reflect through this world and through the eyes of these characters, your own world and your own experiences. And it just does that so beautifully. Book of the month, Warhost of Vastmark by Janny Wirtz.
Makes me so happy. So earned as well. I mean, you read Curse of the Mistwraith, and the only reason it didn't win is because you happened to read a masterpiece that month. Then you read Ships of Merior, and the only reason it didn't win is because you happened to read a masterpiece that month.
And I think Ships of Merior, we kind of did the first tie.
You did a tie, yeah.
Yeah, I think
and
we did a tie.
And now, Warhost of Vastmark, you also read so many great books this month, and it still earned it.
Heavy hitters, and this for me still stands alone.
Yeah. Janny Wirtz, the master. If I could be a quarter of a writer that Janny Wirtz is before I die, I'll be happy.
Let me tell you, having put our own out there, I feel the exact same way.
Yeah.
It is a North Star that gives us something to strive towards, that level of artistry and storytelling.
Big month, big stacks all around. Well done to both of us.
Here is...
I mean, a lot of this is
manga. You know what?
So
I was going to add up.
How many pages you did?
Someone had asked me to put some stats out, or how many pages and stuff I read. And I don't normally do that because, you don't
like to gamify it.
I just don't. I read what I read and I enjoy it, and it's not to cross a goal that I made for myself or anything. I never set the year with how many books I'm going to read. I just read what I read. So I don't do that. I was going to try and add these up because someone had asked, but I didn't even remember to do it. So sorry. but here's the stack. Here's the stack for
what a stack.
May.
Look at that.
That's quite the stack.
Yeah, a lot of it's manga, so it's a little misleading. But
you know what? For someone that's just getting in, super proud, man. Super proud.
I've enjoyed it. Getting more into reading has been a highlight of the year so far for me. And that's saying a lot because we released a book this year. So,
but getting into reading has been a highlight.
Yeah.
And I think it makes you a better artist, appreciating and learning from great art.
Oh, it does. Yeah, a friend of ours, your second son, basically, Tyler, called me today and said he was writing something, and he was asking
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, and he sent me to me. It was great so far. I can't wait for him to keep going with it. But I was telling him advice is like, just read and watch and consume every piece of art that is interesting to you or even remotely related to what you're doing. You have no idea how much inspiration that's going to be to you.
It fills the well.
Yeah.
Fill the well. Yeah, absolutely. So when you're ready to draw from it, it's full. So I think that's it for us, man. We've been going for a while.
Yeah, we have been going for an hour and 7 minutes.
Well, then we better get the heck out of here.
Yes. I would say we are past due our time.
Yeah, we have overstayed our welcome for sure. Thank you so much for joining us here on Talking Story.